Letztes Mal in Persona 5 Royal.
It can't be.
Ist das jetzt ein Bad Ending oder?
You're shitting me. We got him.
Was? Was? Warte, was?
Nun zurück in die menschlichen Abgründe.
Ja, und damit herzlich willkommen zurück in Persona 5 Royal. In der letzten Folge, wie soll ich das zusammenfassen? Ich weiß gar nicht, was ich sagen soll. Wir haben einige Erinnerungen wieder erlangt und haben zumindest einige Puzzleteile zur Wahrheit bekommen, die sich aber noch nicht so richtig wieder zusammengesetzt haben. Also ich verstehe den Grundgedanken von dem, was wir hier vorhaben, wo wir noch mittendrin sind. Ich weiß es nicht. Jedenfalls, alter Schwede, hier geht's ab. Okay, ich habe mich jetzt in der Zwischenzeit ein kleines bisschen beruhigt und wir schauen jetzt mal, wie es weitergeht. Ein weiterer Tag vergangen. Wie lange sind wir in dieser Bude? Das geht doch jetzt schon 2 Tage. Ich bin so müde. Es fühlt sich so an, als würde ich gleich ohnmächtig werden.
Hey, are you alright?
Keine Ahnung, sag du es mir.
Don't fall asleep until we reach our destination.
Was?
Are you listening?
Ja, aber was? Hä? Liegt das vielleicht daran, dass das Mittel nachlässt? Meine verlorenen Erinnerungen kommen langsam wieder. Ja, das haben wir in der letzten Folge gesehen, aber ich hätte das gern mal als Timeline nochmal zusammengefasst, weil, nochmal richtig chronologisch, weil irgendwie, da sind mir immer noch zu viele Lücken.
Are you listening?
Wovon haben wir gerade geredet?
You weren't paying attention? Well, I guess I can see how you'd be lost in thought right now. Anyway, we need to talk about how to get out of this situation. Futaga's monitoring of Akechi's phone has confirmed it. He did indeed have an ulterior motive.
It's on a completely different level than just that.
Okay, das ist eine dieser Erinnerungen, oder?
Not only was he trying to frame us, but he was the true culprit behind the mental shutdowns.
Okay. Was?
Offer to assist us was simply a ploy to frame the Phantom Thieves and kill him.
Okay, also, aber sein Outfit passt doch nicht zu dem, was wir da gesehen haben, wo Harus Vater, also der Schatten von Harus Vater angegriffen wurde, nachdem wir den Palast verlassen haben.
If we go into Sis's palace as he suggests, we'll likely be met by a large ambush of police forces.
To think he would be this far gone. I know now what it means to feel a chill down my spine. Furthermore, he wishes to bring a police squad from reality into the palace.
Hat er das denn?
If the 8 of us can enter at once, it's not inconceivable to think a larger group is possible. He may even be able to bring in vehicles or other special pieces of equipment.
Ja gut, wir haben ja auch Ahn das erste Mal eher als Unfall mitgenommen, ne?
So, this really was just a setup to shift the blame onto us.
He made us go after Okumura. Then once we triggered the change of heart, he killed him. And he told us he had seen the true culprit, but it was him the entire time.
The whole time he was working with Makoto's sister, he was really just some homicidal maniac. Come on, we gotta take that bastard Akechi down. Isn't that recording we got enough proof to do it?
Was?
No. Akechi is merely a tool. His orders come from elsewhere. The grand mastermind behind this all.
Ja, und den haben wir gesehen, das ist Shido.
An unimaginable fiend capable of arranging the murder of a suspect inside of a police station.
Unless we find out who that is, we will continue being targeted even if we defeat Akechi.
But what means do we have of learning his identity?
We'll have to make Akechi say it. Though once we do, that mastermind will likely eliminate us.
I think that will be the case eventually, regardless of whether or not we learn his identity. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because we're an easy target to blame for his crimes. If he realizes that's no longer possible and abandons that plan, he may opt to kill us immediately.
Damn it. So we don't got a choice but to go with that bastard's suggestion.
But if we go into the palace like we're told, he'll get arrested, and then Akechi will kill him.
Palace. The palace. Actually, there's something I'd like to say regarding...
Aha! We can use the palace to our advantage!
Also tatsächlich, ja. Dann
What's this all of a sudden?
haben wir den Palast manipuliert? Ehrlich?
There's a way. A way to get past Akechi and get the mastermind to lay off of us, all while learning his identity. Really?
You gotta be kidding me.
If he wants to kill the guy, why not let him?
Ja, das beruhigt mich sehr, Futaba.
That is, inside of a palace.
Yes, we could have him kill the cognitive version, all the while believing he killed the real one.
Wie willst denn das machen?
Yeah, that's it!
It seems that's our only option.
Ein kognitives Ich, aber das geht doch gar nicht. Ich gehe doch körperlich in die Paläste, oder? Oder existiert in seiner... Warte mal, reden wir jetzt über Sais Palast? Und das kognitive Ich aus Sais Sicht? Oder hat Akechi selbst einen Palast, der dem Sais sehr ähnlich ist?
Listen close, everyone. I have a plan for how we can carry this operation out.
Ever since the death of their teenage leader, the Phantom Thieves have fallen silent.
Ich kapier es nicht.
However, the police intend on continuing this investigation until the case is fully solved.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had to finish a few things at work. Where are they?
Waiting upstairs. Go tell them to come on down. I'm gonna fetch him.
Hä?
You're her sister, correct?
Makoto told me everything.
Was? Wie? Wann? Und in welchem... Ach nee, wir sind jetzt am 21.11. abends. Okay, also wir sind jetzt in der Gegenwart. Okay.
Futaba-chan, I'm sorry that I caused you so much trouble this past summer.
It's ancient history now.
Man, that goddamn detective.
Look who's here.
Hey, you big bastard.
Wie zum Teufel haben wir das gemacht und warum ist Sai auf unserer Seite? Also... Ich brauche noch mehr Erklärungen. Ich krieg das gerade nicht so richtig verarbeitet.
How have you been?
Tja, gespenstisch? Ich würde gern ein Fragezeichen hinten dran setzen, aber...
You're not floating.
Ich schwebe gleich mit Höchstgeschwindigkeit in Richtung Boden.
It truly is a relief to see your face.
I bet that moron Akechi don't even know we tricked him yet.
Still, how'd you pull this off?
Ja, das weiß auch ich bis jetzt noch nicht so richtig. Ich hab... Die Grundidee habe ich verstanden, aber... Wie?
Isn't this guy considered dead?
You weren't told anything? I heard my sister brought him here, though.
Yeah, she came over in a taxi, dumped him off, and told me to keep him safe. It was right after they announced he had died, too. Almost gave me a heart attack.
I didn't have time to explain.
Hey, shouldn't we tell Boss what really happened?
We wanted to make our enemy believe the leader of the Phantom Thieves was dead.
Okay, dann rückt jetzt aber mal mit der kompletten Timeline chronologisch raus, bitte.
What?
What we did was make that enemy kill his fake in the metaverse.
Hold on a sec. Enemy? Fake? What are you talking about?
Ich bin gerade ähnlich verwirrt wie unser guter alter Sochiro hier.
The true culprit behind all these incidents set us up. Our goal here was to determine their identity.
True culprit? I see. So you guys were going up against someone else.
It was Goro Akechi. You knew beforehand that he was the traitor, didn't you?
Akechi hat's vermasselt? Keine Ahnung.
Akechi himself gave us the chance to strike back. He made one fatal mistake.
Okay, was für ein Fehler war das? Weil ich habe ihn nicht wahrgenommen.
Couldn't you have just said from the beginning that Akechi was the real culprit?
Ja, und du hättest uns geglaubt, ne?
That wasn't something we could simply bring up. We couldn't have you suspect Akechi. Besides, neither you nor the other investigators would have believed something like that, would you?
True. Akechi was credited with the arrest of the Phantom Thieves. Not even I would think he was the culprit. In other words, you left him alone on purpose. That was a bold move.
God, I can't keep up with any of this stuff.
Geht mir auch so.
So what was this mistake Akechi made? What did he do?
Ja, das würde mich jetzt auch mal interessieren.
He slipped up in regards to Morgana's voice.
Das war... Darauf beziehen wir uns.
You mean a cat?
Yes, Morgana can talk.
Okay, das müssen wir ihm jetzt wahrscheinlich ganz schon beibringen.
Sorry, was that supposed to be a joke?
Oh, our apologies. That's completely true. You surprised?
Does that mean he said something just now as well?
But you don't understand him, do you? That's how it was for all of us at first, too.
When you're in the metaverse, Mona talks like a normal person. Once you hear that and your brain realizes he can actually talk, you start to understand him in reality. It's a change in cognition, most likely.
Thanks to Akechi's lame acting, we figured out something was up.
When we talked to Akechi at the school festival, he was acting like he just realized Mona could talk. But we already saw him drop a mega hint about it way earlier.
Oh, I know a place! I want to go to that huge pancake-looking place we passed on the way here!
Oh, am I mistaken? I thought I heard something about delicious pancakes.
Aber...
Mona was the only one who was talking about a pancake.
Ja, aber wieso war das der Fehler, der uns drauf gebracht hat, dass er... Ja gut, ja... Ich meine, das muss aber trotzdem kein Beweis sein, weil... Ich meine, ich denke wahrscheinlich automatisch jetzt zu sehr dagegen, weil er wusste ja zu diesem Zeitpunkt gar nichts von der Katze selbst, oder? Na, das heißt, es kann auch jeder andere von uns darüber gesprochen haben und wir wollten es ihm dann nur nicht sagen oder so, dass er davon ausgeht. Er hätte ja dann trotzdem auf dem Schulfest überrascht sein können, dass er Mona verstehen kann.
That meant Akechi'd already been in the metaverse by then.
And since he was lying to us about that, we assumed he had a hidden motive behind contacting us.
Das ist wahr, auf dem Schulfest hat er nämlich behauptet, er könne das erst seit kurzem. Das stimmt allerdings. Das habe ich ja da auch schon mal angemerkt. Ja, es geht nicht so hundertprozentig zusammen, aber ja, okay. Ich sehe die Verbindung, aber das ist halt schwammige Annahme irgendwie.
It seemed odd upon further thought. His reaction to my pancake comment was an honest one after all.
Ja, durchaus. Ja, gut, okay, das lass ich durchgehen. Das lasse ich so durchgehen. Tja, seine Geschichte war halt so perfekt, ne?
He did approach us when we found ourselves in the worst trouble yet. That's why we asked Futaba-chan to wiretap his phone.
I pretended to be interested in checking the phone out, but I was actually planting my app.
Ja, ne, das habe ich mir ja schon gedacht, dass das der Moment war, wo sie ihm das Telefon aus der Hand gerissen hat, ja.
My heart was pounding while I was doing it, though.
Even that ace detective could never have imagined a program being installed so quickly. Futaba's quirky nature proved to be a great help.
That was just an act!
Naja, ich weiß ja nicht.
After a few days of listening, this confirmed his betrayal.
Then I'll guide the police into her palace and have them catch the phantom thieves in the act. That would be the only way to arrest them, given their methods. I'll deal with them after that. Let me see. We could say he stole the guard's gun and committed suicide during his imprisonment. How about that? Public security questioning will occur on the first day. And with that room, my task will be simple.
Is this for real?
Ja.
Yes, the guard will be one of ours. We'll have to eliminate him after to destroy the evidence, though.
So they planned to get rid of that guard from the beginning.
Well then, I will make the arrangements the day after the arrest. And thus, the dangerous criminal responsible for the mass mental shutdowns shall end his own life. When he does, you will become a great hero who saved Japan from evil. As will I, of course.
I knew he was acting strangely, but to think he was this far gone.
He's no ace detective. Akechi is the perpetrator behind the mental shutdown crimes. On top of that, there's someone else commanding Akechi. Someone with great authority. So great that they can order an assassination in a police station. That's why we had to make a move before they did.
I see.
We baited Akechi into Sis's palace, making him dispose of our leader's fake, but think he killed him.
Can you elaborate on that in more detail? What exactly happened in my cognitive world?
Das würde mich jetzt auch mal interessieren, wie wir das geschafft haben. Weil ich immer noch nicht ganz einen Durchblick habe, was war Realität, was war kognitiv und wo war die Grenze dazwischen. Das habe ich nicht verstanden.
We're sorry for using you without your permission. Your palace had all the conditions we needed.
Was ist es eigentlich mit ihr? Haben wir jetzt, ohne dass wir ihren Schatz wirklich stehlen mussten, quasi sie wieder zur Besinnung gebracht oder was? Haben wir das jetzt über die Realität geregelt oder?
What conditions?
First, we required a place inside the cognitive world that was the same as in reality.
Ja.
That place is based on the real world after all. Anywhere that's not warped looks just like normal.
That's why nobody but the person who uses the nav even realizes they're in the metaverse.
Back with Kamoshida, we came in from the station without even noticing.
Mhm. Allerdings, erst als wir an der Schule waren.
You totally can't tell the difference if there ain't any distortions around.
We had already investigated Nijima-san's palace when Makoto brought the suggestion to us.
I was seriously impressed by that suggestion. To be honest, I didn't quite understand it, but I went along with it.
Tja, wir mussten drauf vertrauen, ne?
And it was absolutely the best decision we could have made.
Makoto is normally so calm as well, but once her mind is set, she gets oddly impulsive.
Ja, das liegt in der Familie, wie es aussieht.
I did have a bit of a rivalry forming with Akechi. But I just couldn't contain myself anymore once you became a target, sis. The reason I joined the Phantom Thieves was to heal your heart, after all.
My own achievements were all that mattered to me. I was desperate. I wasn't myself at all. I'm sorry I couldn't see that.
That goes for the both of us. We heard from Mako-chan that you were going to do the interrogation, Nijima-san.
And regarding its location, I take it you used the data from my laptop?
Erwischt.
I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
Go on.
There were two things we were able to confirm while we were checking the metaverse. First, our clothes didn't change when we were down in the interrogation room.
Stimmt! Die wechseln ja erst, sobald wir den direkten Palast betreten. Oh! Natürlich. Das ist ja. Der Palast war ja das Gerichtsgebäude und nicht das Polizeihauptquartier. Das Polizeihauptquartier war aber nah genug. Das heißt, wir haben das Metaverse tatsächlich bis zum Befragungsraum nicht verlassen. Oder? Nee, kann nicht sein. Sai hat ja nicht ihren eigenen Palast betreten, oder?
Second, the scenery and details outside of the palace proper were the same as in the real world.
Once we heard that from Makoto, we secretly went to check it out without Akechi knowing.
There was also one more thing we absolutely needed to make this work. A perfect cognitive replica of him in the metaverse's interrogation room.
Ja, und wie hat das funktioniert? Also wir haben uns tatsächlich in dem realen Raum befunden. Weil sonst hätte Sai uns ja auch nicht in der Realität wieder hierher bringen können. Und sie wusste ja bis zu dem Zeitpunkt, wo wir aus ihrem Palast geflohen sind, auch nichts davon. Das heißt, wir haben uns tatsächlich festnehmen lassen und haben uns in die Realität zurückbringen lassen. Haben aber dann irgendwie die kognitive Form dieser Umgebung, dieses Polizeireviers von Sai, dafür genutzt, Akechi reinzulegen.
Since he had yet to be caught, though, there obviously wouldn't be anyone in that room.
Once we saw the casino guests and police officers, we were convinced this would work. They looked no different from actual living people.
After that, we just had to work our way into the palace like usual, while keeping Akechi in the dark.
Du Scheiße.
Everything went as planned up until we defeated Sis's shadow.
Ja, was ist jetzt eigentlich mit ihrem Schatz?
However, it was then that we were met with a terrifying, unexpected police ambush. As a result, even though we managed to grab the treasure, we couldn't get it out of the metaverse.
Okay.
Except that was all an act.
Was? Was? Wie jetzt?
We had prepared an empty briefcase beforehand and merely acted like we were taking the treasure.
Was zum... was ist jetzt mit dem echten was?
This was because we knew the police would be coming for us.
We made sure before the operation that the police would be waiting to ambush us. And just as expected, he totally took the bait.
Him getting captured by the police went exactly how we planned it.
And I had been interrogating him with no knowledge of this.
Okay.
But how did you lure Akechi into this cognitive world's interrogation room?
All I needed were the coordinates.
Anscheinend ist sie mit dem Laptop hier aus der Ferne in das Meta-Universum gelangt. Sie jetzt zu fragen, würde das Gespräch zu sehr in die Länge ziehen. Ich frag sie später.
Akechi disposed of the fake in the palace and left thinking he had been victorious.
Aber wie haben wir ihn in den Palast bekommen? Hat Futaba etwa in dem Moment, also dass wir Sei das Telefon gegeben haben, ist in der Realität passiert. Und als die beiden sich begegneten und Sei das Telefon Akechi vor der Nase gehalten hat, hat Futaba irgendwas gemacht, was Akechi, ohne dass er es gemerkt hat, ins Metaverse befördert hatte, oder? Kommt das so in etwa hin?
It must have been truly hilarious for our leader who sat idly in the real world's interrogation room. Surely he was acting quite cocky by himself in that quiet chamber.
So that's why you gave me your phone. I only took it because of what you told me.
It's a shame I didn't have the opportunity to see that for myself.
Tja, ich konnte es auch nicht sehen.
All I could do was try to handle all the messages that started coming to me on his phone. Huh. So in other words, I've been to the metaverse, albeit for a brief moment.
Jein, in deinem eigenen Palast? Maybe. Gab's noch mal so einen zweiten Moment? So eine Transition? Ja, klar, wo sie wieder zurückging, oder?
In our experience, there is little danger when someone enters their own palace for so short a time.
That's the other reason we had him give it to you. We needed you to listen to Alibaba, deceive the guard, and ultimately aid in his escape. By having you head back to the interrogation room, we could return you to the real world as well.
I mean, I had to think of some way to keep you from running into Akechi mid-assassination.
Huh. Astounding. I hadn't the slightest idea that such a grand operation was taking place within me.
I'm so glad he was able to persuade you during the interrogation. Even though we knew Akechi's plan, we were pretty worried about that part.
True.
Why is that?
Without Sis on our side, Futaba's plan and subsequent breakout would have never been possible. That persuasion was easily our greatest gamble. We couldn't consult Sis beforehand. It was absolutely the make or break moment of the entire plan.
Still, I'm surprised you could convince me in such a short time. Were you confident you could do it?
Kein Stück.
Then it truly was a do-or-die situation? That's crazy.
Könnte man so sagen.
Either way, I can't believe you went for such a risky idea.
If we could just tell you the true culprit's plan, I knew you'd realize the bigger picture. Realize that our leader was telling the truth, and that there was a greater evil to pursue.
As a result, we emerged victorious.
Then the reason you kept this a secret from me was so you could catch the true culprit, correct?
Yes. Plus, you had lost control of yourself at the time.
This is stunning. All I can really do is laugh.
I've kind of figured out that you guys made Akechi kill a fake. But what did you do about the body?
The police never even checked it.
Warte mal, stopp. Ach, na klar. Aber hä, wie soll denn das gehen? Dass mein Körper einfach verschwindet? Ich meine, das war doch jetzt der Bezug, oder? Warte mal, Lok. Also.
I've kind of figured out that you guys made Akechi kill a fake.
Richtig, genau. Ja, was habt ihr aber wegen der Leiche gemacht?
What did you do about the body?
Richtig, die Polizei hat's nie überprüft.
The police never even checked it.
Wie kann das denn sein, Alter?
Huh?
They had a coroner working to ensure his death was reported as a suicide. That coroner didn't take one look at the scene and just passed along a falsified death certificate.
Also war der auch im Metaverse und hat zumindest eine Leiche gesehen, oder
The bad guys have that much influence?
Scheint so.
Murder in a police station would be reckless otherwise. We also knew of a possible conspirator.
Thanks to Futaba-chan's messages and the guard's demeanor, I eventually came to understand. And since the higher-ups at the police knew nothing of this, they were thrown into disarray. As a result, his suicide during imprisonment was reported on the news, just as Akechi planned.
And with that confusion, he was able to escape with Nijima-san's help.
I made sure nobody would check the morgue for his body, and thanks to that, nobody knows he survived.
Thinking back to the interrogation, though, I can't believe what they did to him. The callous use of violence and even drugs is utterly abnormal.
Das passierte ja tatsächlich in der Realität.
If he had lost consciousness and hadn't been able to tell Sis about the phone, he would have died. I'm truly glad you made it back safe.
Tja. Das war echt harte Arbeit.
I almost became one of your assailants as well.
It still freaked me out when I saw the suicide on the news, though.
We made sure to live normal lives while he was being interrogated to avoid drawing any suspicion. Even with that, I couldn't help but worry for him in my heart.
Well, I knew right away that her plan worked out.
I wanted to believe, but considering what we were up against.
Ryuji's a bit on the dense and carefree side.
Can it, cat?
I had to be patient and avoid this place until things settled down. I finally feel relieved.
We knew he was alive, but it was difficult to not worry until we could confirm it in person.
Now that I think about it, my interrogation was just a formality for the head commander. What a joke, letting me interrogate someone who was meant to die. They just wanted to avoid backlash. Very well. From here forward, I will do my utmost to assist you. You saved me, after all.
That's reassuring to hear.
I'll do whatever I can to help too. Just let me know. Let's take a break for now, though. This old brain is pooped.
Das geht mir gerade genauso.
And feel free to use the first floor when you guys want to get together to talk. You'll need a hideout where you can be safe. Just say the word and I'll close shop early.
Are you sure?
This guy can't leave. Plus, you won't make much progress if people can hear you from downstairs. It's not like this place is the liveliest joint in town. It won't be a huge loss for me.
Let us accept his offer. What a great man.
Allerdings, ja. Ja, da hat sich auch sehr viel verändert, seitdem wir hier angekommen sind. Ach du Scheiße. Ja, Kira Kuroso.
Sounds familiar.
It's me, Akechi.
Enter.
That's the death certificate of the principal offender, correct? Is there a problem with it?
No, nothing in particular. More importantly, you've done well with regard to the prosecutors.
The cause of death for the SIU director has been settled as a stroke.
I had him work quite substantially on forging evidence. His loss should be mourned.
It was thanks to his efforts that I could enter the Phantom Thieves' interrogation room, too.
The SIU is in disarray with his death. I'll take my time choosing a successor after the elections.
At any rate, I'm now praised as a hero, and I owe it all to the Phantom Thieves.
All possible hindrances are now gone. There's no doubt that this election is mine.
And on to our next story. The snap election for the House of Representatives.
Der Typ ist doch echt Hitler nochmal, oder? Nur viel schlimmer. Noch viel schlimmer.
Discussion is swirling around potential nominees as the deadline for candidacy announcement nears. Candidates will announce on the 23rd of this month, while voting will be held on the 18th of next.
18. Dezember.
Elections, huh? Don't matter to us. It's not like we can vote in them yet anyways.
Why don't we resume our conversation?
Well, the Phantom Thieves are back together. We can finally take it to Akechi and the bastard backing him.
Have you figured out who's behind all this?
Akechi accidentally let that slip after the murder. He said, Shido-san.
Aha, okay, wir wissen's.
Shido? Feels like I've heard that somewhere.
He is unmistakably a man of power if he has such strong connections to the police.
Shido? Could it be Masayoshi Shido?
Who? I believe he's a politician. Remember, Ryuji? You said his speech was too loud.
For real?
It's certainly possible that Shido is the mastermind.
Huh?
Do you have some kind of evidence?
Nothing material. However, there are various conditions which align with that possibility. First, he would profit from damage done to the current administration by the psychotic breakdowns. He's maintained a negative stance toward the Phantom Thieves and has gained tremendous popularity. On top of that, he'll most likely become the next Prime Minister if he wins this upcoming election.
No!
Did he set us up with that election in mind?
If he is behind all this, that would be in stark opposition to his honest public image.
So his current position and popularity is just him benefiting from the mental collapses.
We'll make him have a change of heart, no matter what it takes. Mom.
Shido, huh?
What is the matter?
I had a feeling he was wrapped up in all this.
Wie kommt's?
just based on the connections I had from my previous job. I think the one who crushed Wakaba's research and confiscated her materials was probably Shido.
Aha.
From the moment Wakaba died, I had a hunch he was involved. But there wasn't anything I could do, so I chose to protect Futaba and went into hiding.
Why didn't you say that sooner?
You guys would have definitely gone after him if I had. He would have just killed all of you, no doubt. That's what he usually does to people who get in his way.
Originally, I was looking into the mental shutdown cases. It was then that I accidentally stumbled upon government research regarding the psychotic breakdowns. So I tracked down the whereabouts of that research data and met with the associated parties. Boss was one of those parties. I would never have imagined all of this was connected. The mental shutdowns, psychotic breakdowns, Shido, and even the Phantom Thieves' actions.
Way back when, Shido kept saying he was going to be Prime Minister one day. Nobody believed him, though.
What's going to happen to this country if Shido becomes Prime Minister? What about the world?
The issue is simpler than that. This is nothing more than yet another selfish adult trying to impose his will on the public.
We gotta expose that rotten bastard!
Yeah, we'll do it like always. Then let's check the nav.
Wir machen das gleich?
Masayoshi Shido, the guy running for Prime Minister.
Result found.
Got a hit! Well, duh. It ain't a surprise he has one.
Where would the location be?
What kind of things go through a politician's head?
I always think of dirty money and shady actions.
What does he do? And where? We don't got a clue about this guy's life.
His palace must be somewhere that politicians frequent. Any ideas?
Parlamentsgebäude möglicherweise, ja, das liegt noch am nächsten.
We got a hit!
How arrogant must he be to see himself as the ruler of the Diet Building?
Our next target's the big shot politician Masayoshi Shido. We're gonna do this, right?
Tja, wir müssen. Aber was ist mit Akechi, wenn er das mitkriegt?
No need to waste time with him. We just gotta hit the head. Nobody against it?
Of course.
He will be a worthy opponent.
Wir müssen aber aufpassen, dass es Akechi nicht zu früh mitbekommt.
Let's win this together.
Oh, Leute.
Time for revenge.
Wir kriegen aber auch keine Pause, oder?
Then it's unanimous.
All we gotta do now is figure out what he thinks that diet building place is.
So that's the app that allowed me to enter the metaverse.
An old fart like me can't wrap his head around all this stuff.
We'll have to deal with this before Election Day, December 18th. That means we need it done by the 17th.
Okay, das ist gar nicht so lange.
It's best we hurry before they discover there's no body in the morgue.
Should we start tomorrow then? We can meet at the Diet Building after school.
That reminds me, what are you gonna do about school? You can't show up if you're supposed to be dead.
Ms. Kawakami said he went back home for family reasons.
That's what I told the school.
Don't let him find out you're alive then, alright? This whole thing would be for nothing.
What do you mean?
This operation had another purpose outside of escaping Akechi's clutches. Shido tried to place all the blame on the Phantom Thieves and deceive the public at the same time. He has ruined countless lives, and even made Goro Akechi, a student, assist him with assassinations. A mere change of heart is too lenient a sentence for such an abominable criminal.
We'll be making use of the police statement that the leader of the Phantom Thieves committed suicide. Our leader, who is presumed dead, will come out of hiding to deliver a grand statement. He'll say he has escaped prison, not committed suicide, and was in fact almost killed by a criminal.
Everyone's gonna flip.
You guys thought through all this stuff too?
We're intellectuals, you know.
Das sagt ausgerechnet Ryuji.
That's why you needed such a daring trick as getting captured and appearing to be killed. What frightening teenagers.
But the true battle has only just begun. We won the first round, but we must stay on our toes.
Yeah, this ain't the time to be celebrating.
These people tried to trap and kill us. There is no end to their inhuman, conniving nature. We will need to be prepared for whatever may come our way.
I finally made it this far. It's already been 2.5 years since we met.
Back then, you earned the media's attention as a young politician who could rise up against bureaucracy. Because of that, those who wanted to preemptively deal with problems tried to tie you up in scandal.
To think I would fall for the ruse schemed by those decrepit fools in power. I recall that's when you came to me. You promoted yourself saying you had special powers. If it wasn't for the research on cognition that I dabbled in, I would have thought you insane.
I made those troublesome opponents psychotic and erased any trace of that scandal.
Ja.
Who'd think that tampering with a person's heart could trigger a psychotic lapse or mental shutdown? And when someone like that said he'd support me, I had suspected there'd be an ulterior motive.
It's because I sympathized with your aspiring ideology. I believed that your ideals needed to be achieved for the sake of the country's future.
Meinst du das ernst?
Well, my faith in you was precisely why I pulled the plug on that research. I only need you using that power. It'd be troublesome if someone else uncovered how it works.
Wakaba Ishiki, was it? That researcher. She wouldn't have had to die if she just complied.
Any suspicions should be snubbed out. Even the smallest doubt must be severed at the root. After all, we had an active public prosecutor's office director on our side until recently.
Astounding, isn't it? To think the director himself often forged evidence to secure his promotion. He was quite surprised when you confronted him about it. He didn't know who leaked that information. Well, I got that out of his shadow, so technically speaking, he did it himself.
This country's affairs have become stagnant. The political world is filled with old men who only act to preserve their own vested interests. The general public has forsaken such political affairs and don't even bother. Only
I must agree.
There's no need to be ruined along with such incompetent fools. I will lead this country to its revival. Those who get in the way must be eliminated at times. That's the correct way to use the metaverse.
Still, it would stand out if there were continuous deaths and scandals with your political rivals. Which is why I made them suspects. Prosecute the targets that I turn psychotic, and solve them as cases unrelated to you. And thus, the charismatic ace detective was born.
Echt? Das war von Anfang an eure Show?
Thanks to your efforts, my clean image remains untarnished, and I've monopolized public opinion. Once I gained public sentiment, collaborators from all sectors began approaching me on their own.
Ich möchte schon wieder so sehr in meinen Bildschirm reinlangen.
The police were no exception. With their management in my pocket, keeping them in check was easy.
When the Phantom Thieves emerged, I thought things might become somewhat troublesome.
And they were just brats once we looked into it. All we needed to do was lay the blame on them.
When you told me that, I knew then that you were the better man.
Their popularity was a bit beyond my expectations, but flipping it made the negative press stronger. After that, all I had to do was openly berate them. I've been gaining more supporters since. The current administration is dead with ongoing scandals. Never mind the fact that they're my doing. Even the government parties have begun splitting up, and they're dissolving just as planned. The time has finally come. Just a little more, and I will take the seat of Prime Minister. However, inauguration isn't my goal. That's when everything truly begins.
Alter, das werden wir aber zu verhindern wissen.
I'll make this country rich for the sake of its selfish and ignorant masses who can only rely on others.
In other words, you're creating a powerful country that can compete with the world.
The public resonates with my ideals and follows me. And for that, some sacrifices can't be avoided. That is my duty as the chosen one. Your assistance has been very influential in making my plans proceed smoothly. When I become Prime Minister, I'll grant whatever wish you want.
With this most recent case, my name has become known across the country, perhaps even the world. Surely my story will be passed down as a hero who won against monsters that could control people's hearts.
Auch das werden wir zu verhindern wissen.
I believe I'll lay low and devote myself to my studies.
I suppose with your age, you wouldn't come up with debauched desires.
I am thinking about the future, though.
Well, how do I put this?
Ja, also endlich scheint sich alles ein bisschen beruhigt zu haben, ne? Na, ab morgen wird's echt stressig für dich, Junge. Ruh dich lieber noch aus.
Well then.
Ah, der Boss hat recht. Wir sollten es heute ruhig angehen lassen.
Alter. Bah. Oh, mein Kopf ist jetzt die letzten 2 Folgen mindestens 8-mal explodiert. Meine Fresse, aber so langsam, jetzt kommt endlich alles zusammen. Fuck, das war eine riskante Nummer, Alter. Damn, okay. Das müssen wir jetzt erstmal ein bisschen verarbeiten, das Ganze. Und beim nächsten Mal reden wir noch mit Morgana und Futaba. Und dann schauen wir mal, was wir jetzt gegen Shido machen. Und ich mache mir ein bisschen Sorgen um meinen Harem und die Weiterführung der Social Links. Aber müssen wir mal gucken, welche Möglichkeiten wir da jetzt noch haben. Wäre schade, wenn uns da jetzt so viel durch die Lappen geht. Wir werden sehen. Jedenfalls bin ich jetzt erstmal raus. Ich wünsche euch eine gute Zeit. Bleibt gesund. Das ist das Allerwichtigste. Ich bin raus hier. Bis dahin. Haut rein.